Welcome back, CJ lovers, and if this is your first time on the channel, welcome on board. Do well to subscribe to this channel. Last week we actually did a cutting tutorial, and this week we're going to be doing the part 2, which is the sewing tutorial. Please stay tuned. The first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be attaching the front facing to the front fabric, facing the right side of the fabric to the wrong side of the facing. Then we're going to be following the scallop shape of the facing to attach it to the front neckline. Make sure to do it carefully, as the shape of the neckline is not actually straight, in order for you not to make mistakes. Mind you, what we did here is that we actually faced the right side of the fabric to the wrong side of the facing, because when we are done sewing this, the facing will be facing towards the front side, because we're not going to be using the facing to conceal the wrong side, but to conceal the front part of the A-line dress. So please watch carefully so you understand it. After stitching the neckline to conceal the raw edge of the neckline, we are going to be flipping it over to the right side. It will be the design that the front neckline is going to be having. Do well to give your facing whatever shape you're comfortable with. After I'm done sewing the facing, I'm going to take it to my ironing table and press it. But before that, we're going to be notching each curved edges to enable the neckline to relax properly. If you don't notch it, all these curved edges will not allow the fabric to relax. Make sure to do it carefully in order for you not to cut through the seam that you've made. So now we're going to be flipping it over to the right side. I actually fused the facing with a white interfacing, which is also known as paper stay. And I also fold the lower edge of the facing in order to conceal its raw edge. After doing that, I took it to my ironing board and ironed it. This is how it looks. Now we are going to be stitching it towards the wrong part. We are going to be stitching down the facing. It will be in form of a top stitch on the facing part, not on the actual fabric, but on the facing, in order for it to relax properly on the front neckline. Make sure to do it carefully and gradually to avoid mistakes. If you know this is your first time on the channel, please do well to hit on the subscribe button, like this video and share it as many people as possible to enable this channel grow, and as well as for you guys to support me, guys. I will really appreciate this. Please do well to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for doing that. So now we're going to continue top stitching on the facing. After doing that, we can see that the scallop shape is formed and the neckline is relaxed. So now we are going to be stitching the lower part of the facing, following the curve shape we give the lower part of the neckline. Make sure to stitch it down carefully Don't mind me, I was listening to a music in my head and I've forgotten that I'm actually in front of the camera, so don't mind me. Make sure to follow each lines and be careful in order for the stitch not to be rough. So after stitching it down, we're going to be trimming every excess of the facing, both at the armhole parts as well as on the shoulder part. So after trimming it, you can see how it looks. Now we're going to be repeating the same thing we did for the front neckline, also for the back neckline. We're going to be facing the right side of the facing to the wrong side of the fabric, stitching it at the neckline alone. Mind you, make sure to pin it down to avoid it from moving around. After pinning it down, now we're going to be taking it to the sewing machine to stitch it down. We're going to be stitching just the neckline, using 1/2 inch to stitch the neckline of the using 1/2 inch to stick the neckline of the fabric as well as the facing together. After doing that, we're going to be top stitching on the facing just like we did for the front part of the fabric. Then we're going to be flipping it over to the right side. I did that off camera, so you can also do that for yours. After flipping it down and top stitching, we're going to be sewing the lower part of the facing as the front design of the neckline. Make sure to pin it down to avoid it from moving. After we are done stitching, this is how it looks. Make sure to do this for the 2 back parts of the outfit. Now I'm going to be trimming the excess on the shoulder point as well as on the armhole. Now the back part is actually ready. What we did for one of the back parts is the same thing we are going to be repeating on the second part of the outfits. If you don't understand what is happening here, make sure to watch it over and over again until you get the point. Make sure to watch it carefully and pay attention, guys, so you get it. After we are done stitching down the facing of the second back part, We're going to be trimming the excess as well, both on the armhole as well as on the shoulder point. After doing that, we're going to be stitching the two back parts together using the allowance we left for the zipper part. After stitching it down and giving it a nice press, this is how it looks. Now I'm going to be joining the front part of the outfit together to the back, and then we're going to be stitching it, leaving the 2 inches allowance we left on the sides. Mind you, you're going to be stitching based on the amount of allowance you left for your fabric. If you know the allowance you left on your fabric is not up to 2 inches, make sure to stitch down the allowance you left. To those that have sticked with me till this point, thank you guys so much. You guys are the real MVPs. Thank you. I really appreciate your effort, your support, and the love so far. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. Make sure to stitch down the allowance using a straight and one continuous stitch towards the upper part. Once you get to the lower part, don't forget to back stitch, guys, in order to stop it from unraveling. Now we're going to be stitching down the shoulder point by 1/2 inch. After stitching the shoulder points, now we're going to be attaching the sleeve. I did the sleeve off camera. It's a mid-arm sleeve attached to a ruffle at the mid-arm. So now I'm going to be stitching the sides off camera. After stitching the sides, now we're going to be attaching the sleeve to the outfit. Make sure to use the allowance you left on the armhole to stitch the sleeve to the fabric. I'm making use of 1/2 inch to join the sleeve to the body of the dress. Mind you, what you did for one part of the sleeve is what you're going to be repeating for the other part of the sleeve. After stitching it down, this is the final result of the gown, guys. Thank you for sticking with me until my next video. Stay blessed and stay focused, guys. Thank you so much. Bye.